Good evening. I don't know if I'm completely settled about how to handle the structure of this. I think it's going to involve. I should probably just get like a list of values. Helper. I could, because I'm going to need variations of that. Like we might just have to take like everything in a section. I'm going to do something with that. Certainly a section parser. Let's see. If we didn't concern ourselves with the contents, we could do section header. Let's see. So this is all value. That was lines. We still got our parses helper. I don't know if this is a group right now. Structures. This might be section. This will be empty. Well, we don't have labels here. This maybe this kind of stuff would be benefit more from labels. Run section on that. Expect that equal. We're back to where okay. And I guess, well, I was going to actually change this value as we move forward. But it's going to have to contain something. Oh. Or is it section name versus section... The known sections might be ignorable. Okay, I did not do header there. We don't even have a section parser. So right now, we've got a group code. We've got kind of been building down. We've got that giant map. DXF parser of... What's the section? Or is a section just header? And they are all sections. Well, I think the structure here is going to be... is we specialize, we might be able to say, well, the header has all variable definitions, and this has that, and this has that. But not really right off the bat. Record will also be valid because you have like you could have like name and internal attributes. And that needs more structure, but we have to have something there. And we could just do that. Oh, I used section entity type? Oh. So it wasn't a value. It was an entity type. Entity type. That's going to be a little bit more of a corner case thing. Run. 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 Now the hard part. So this case is actually a semi-trivial. Although I'd have to translate it into header. That would be easier if I just did a string, maybe. But I also have to, I have to pull the value out of that. Maybe for this level of parsing, I don't want that value enum. I just want to say, give me, this is almost a decoder level of, I expect this type of thing with, then give me the value. That's design feedback. So a section is maybe it's entirely wrong. Wait, zero section is an entity type? Oh, because zero is entities? Is that why I did that? Oh, you know what? I probably need to get these things. I don't know if I want to check these in. Oh, no, I wouldn't. Oh, no, that's actually not it. That's header section. A zero is a, oh, yep, text string indicating entity type. Oh, so I haven't actually done end section yet. Because I've just been saying, oh yeah, we did zero. So maybe I actually want to call that like section start. But this comes down to the thing about making these things maybe not the best way to parse these things. So I go to parse a section, what I'm going to want to say is I expect to parse a section start and a name and then a section end. And for now, we need to succeed empty list. And of course, none of these exist. Well, I guess the tagged values will be useful for doing a giant pool of unknown things. Another tighter way to do this would be to say entity section or going the other way. That would actually make this probably entity. Well, this actually is sort of a name. And I guess that these particular like section and end sec are only going to be needed in one place. So it's not like the functions for those are going to be super valuable. So what does this look like in a parser? Of course, we have this entire block of stuff, so let's also get blocked out. What didn't we save? We didn't save you. All right, well, okay, so that was tagged values. This might be kind of a duplicate. I guess you'd be a parameter. These are going to be enumerated types. They expect these to be relatively finite. But you're just going to be a nothing parser. Well, I guess I could have you return this string or the type again, because we're ignoring the value there. What does spaces return? It returns unit. Because this is going to be a known entity, so this is actually going to be decoder of unit, or a DXF parser. Oop, can't call it a type. So now I need to be able to go the other way. Small disadvantage of having the enum. Maybe we just actually do need to skip that. It's just causing name's gonna be a thing, isn't it? All right, so our value parser. Oh, this got into the whole big switch statement, didn't it? No, this is a not just group code and then. So this is actually saying some of these have variable group codes. This one doesn't. Oh, I guess it could. Well, we can't parse the literal representation because we might allow a range of numbers. So we need to parse a group code and then say it has to be in the expected range. Could it be could we call that a token? It is using a string, so it could be any number of characters in theory. That doesn't hold up. That only works for exactly known numbers, not for ranges of numbers. I also want to do, token 1 or token 2 or token 3 or token 4 or token 5. Ooh. So these aren't backtrackable. When I'm going through a list looking for NSEC, I'm going to have to parse a complete value and then say, well, it was at the end. So yeah, this kind of parser actually doesn't work. It's an interesting idea. But if we ever have a loop here, it's going to gobble whatever we might want to do here. So whatever loop we end up with here actually has to be able to specify what its termination condition is. So we almost want parsers over tokens, the way this works out. And I keep wondering if there's a way to make it just work, but you have to read multiple characters before you get a value you could test, whereas with characters you can kind of test a character and that's enough to determine what you're doing next. So I almost need my own parser thing that operates at token level. I guess I could still make it parser-like in terms of how it consumes input, maybe? Well, no, because this is like parser run. It's going to try to do the whole thing. I don't know if there's any sort of external way to, say, gobble a little bit but keep the state. So they can pick it up again and, call another parser. Well, maybe that would just be the loop. Parse one thing. Well, no, because if we were doing it like that, there's something like chomp. Calling check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. How do loops work again? Define a recursive parser. Define our parser in terms of itself. Exactly the given string, yeah. Oh, I always end up doing custom loops. Just see, well, start string. Yes, this is operating at character level again. So this is one of succeed, succeed. A loop is calling us on its own time. Jumps some characters and then calls itself with new arguments. Oh. Hmm. So I feel like either I need another structure that's more like a, was it like lexer and, actually it was lexer and parser. The parser here is almost more like the lexer. In traditional compiler stuff. But anything I do with number comparison is going to require backtracking. Because in order to parse the int, we're going to have to consume it. Maybe I thought there was a way to resume parsers, but oh well. So we can't actually just straight up parse a section. And for a section itself, we could assume the 0. Could probably make that work. But did we treat the 0 like a token? And we got to other things, though. I don't know if they'd have such well-known numbers. Unless that is kind of part of the protocols. It's going to be this particular number. Does it almost be, would I even be able to reuse group code here? Because I have to parse a specific thing. This has to be symbol, token. Well, it can be spaces. And maybe we could generalize that. It has to be new line. And would that be something you want to wrap up as a group code? We've already got a group code, but it returns a value. But it returns any value. We have to get a specific value. So that probably could be wrapped up as a function. And then we would do... Once again, this has to match a particular string and not get this string. All right, I was kind of in the mid-thought here. So, section entity. Where do we have section entity? Parser.elm 127. What did I rename you to? Section start. Oh, new line is only a token, so we have to say symbol new line. Again? Okay, so we could do that. Would name then be something like this? Now in this case, we know what to do. I don't remember if there's other kinds of names. And this, we want to get the value out. This we might be able to use our old function. Oh, this, you're not going to succeed this. You're going to succeed identity. I didn't do a test for you, though. Ah, okay, header. Wait. The other one returned nothing. This returns okay. Shouldn't that have returned okay? Okay, we got an expecting end. Oh, because this includes the new line. And I probably need to wrap this style of thing up. Yeah, I ran you on that. Shouldn't you get the same result? DXF parser of string, DXF parser of nothing. Succeed of blah, succeed of string. That is kind of disturbing. Oh, now you don't work? Okay, so that why did that run before? Okay. Names the parser string. Needs to be section type. Oh, because I probably defined this in terms of that section type thing. Which we did define there. And we defined here. So we can do that. I'm not sure this is going to hold up to expansion, though. All right, so now we're going to start to get into hairier things. I don't know if that's minimal. Small header. Okay, that must have been the next thing, actually. And now this, because we can't do a hand for all this stuff, would this just be... All right, so you were a... What do we call you? Are you a variable? Okay, 9. And A1 was primary text. Having this down here does kind of make it hard to... I can only see these things getting larger, but... So it's kind of disruptive to have them inline. Wait, what happened to... That happened to the 0. And they can still barely see it. Okay, yes, it is once again white space sensitive. Expecting end of line. Hey, Mark Songs. Thanks for hanging out. Because I don't actually have a loop to parse any of the things in here, probably. It means we have to understand loops again. Yes, I just like parser.loop, so we kind of have to do some translation. Oh, this is where we might need to somehow have a term, which is going to be a tag. Not a thing we can parse like this. I almost want to have a parser on top of the stream of DXF values. Or we just decode it into a list and then try to build a decoder interface off of that. We might at least want to do some stuff for section. Let's see, what would decoder wouldn't quite work because you do have things like up until, like section and until end section, and that's a little bit more parser-like. I mean, maybe it would be like list until. Or you'd have a special like in section helper. And that would be awkward. You'd have to like sort of record some state somewhere that you're in this section. Or you would have to scan through, make a sublist, and then use that sublist for any further queries, which would be a lot of memory allocation. Unless you had a data structure that was the list and it had, you know, sort of virtual bounds that you weren't actually making subsections of it. So it seems like we have to back up. We have to make a list of values somehow. Because either we're going to turn the entire thing into a list of values, or we're going to figure out a way to terminate it. And do that. All right, so right now we're in a fail state. This is legal code doesn't work. This is the thing that is messing us up. Okay. Huh. Actually, having that could have been handy. I guess we need to deal with singulars too. That was our section thing, which didn't quite work out. We need. Oh, this is things pursuant to our section, which was. We're not sure if that was good. I don't know if there's going to be more than one test here. Values. Value list. All right, so we've got the generate cases. That's the ultimate degenerate case. Actually, this is, well, I guess there's always end of file. All right, value list. We think this is eventually actually have to have a terminator argument, but for now, it's a DXF parser of a list of value. And we are going to have to deal with loops for this. Although we can totally cheese this for now. Or can we? Or if we could spell things right. Invalid test description. Oh. I used the shortcut for that. I know this is supposed to be empty string. And that will still pass because it just returns that. Of course, now I need the empty section. Or the, I guess it's a singular. Single item. And I'm still doing this as a type, aren't I, at this level? I mean, is this entity or entity type? Well, this is not legal. Why is this not legal? Okay, because of that. Oh, actually, I can't use parses for the same string because it wants to unique, yeah, entity type, unique names. And we're not actually doing anything. So we could cheese this a little bit. By just doing wrapped value? No. Maybe not. Now this is saying it's actually not finding the right thing, not that it's not returning the right value. Yeah, now it's saying the type is wrong. So maybe we actually need to do map. Rather than succeed. Where we didn't actually get to running the parser because the type was wrong. Now, we've got like this exact same test, though. I think. Except for the return type. Right, we got free brackets before. Okay, so I have somehow mistypoed something in my value here. How did I do that? Do you break too? No, don't think there's any other failing tests. Oh, no, wait. Oh, this one is failing now. All right, this is not actually a list. And an actual loop might be able to handle it. Actually, I'm not sure the loop will be able to handle that, because if we're putting a terminator in, maybe it's an optional terminator. Yeah, that's actually the empty string case. Okay. All right, so value list might be able to be our top level structure. The helper has to be a... It does have to use particular... It does have to have particular return types. So statement is the type you're parsing. And this is parser, but we're really parser.advanced, which is going to make things a little bit more hairy here. Well, that might be similar. Oh, but would it be this, which actually takes care of a lot of the advanced stuff. It is a step which we have... Okay, so this is state and return value. The return value is a list of value. The work in progress value, I might eventually have to put the terminator in here too. So these lists end up getting parsed in reverse, or appended in, I guess, prepended in reverse. All right, that's going to receive... so that's a single step, which accomplishes multiple things. I think maybe value. Well, we have to return loop. So it's going to be a value somewhere. Maybe this is loop. And then you are... We pick up one value. Or... nothing to done, and so we reverse. Oop. Okay, so that actually covers those. However, if we tried to do... now I do have two things where I need this larger example. Well... Actually, I need this larger example with a trail on it. Okay, so actually I could probably parse that. It's going to be a longer list. And it'll be fine. We have not yet parsed multiple values. And then we'll have to, like, I don't know, append it twice and see if we only get it once. All right, so this is going to be the straight up list of values, which we are going to have to do this twice. So you are, okay, 0 is, right now we're calling this an entity type. Well, I guess I should do nsect as a type if I didn't do that. We've got a, what did I call you? Was it a primary text? No, it's a name. All right, your capital header. And then a variable, which just got rolled off, but it's up there too. And that's a primary text. And we probably need to fix this. What's this? Small header. Oh, no, equals string. Oh, small lowercase header. Yeah, we don't have section and. So entity type. We never got around to. There are probably more zeros there to theory you have to deal with. Expecting end of line. I guess I haven't really had a chance to test this yet. Okay, end line, end line, end line, end line, end line. That should be an end line there. Column 2, it doesn't give us, well, row 1. Okay, we did not do spaces here. Are we requiring spaces? No, it's call 4, expecting end of line. I guess this doesn't include end lines in it? I thought it did. I thought that was one of the point of the multi-line strings, actually. Oh, are we having a new line type issue? Okay. I never did check if there was... yeah, that's just doing control N. Or \n. I'm not actually sure what the order on that is. So, this is actually sort of an interesting test now. I guess this would kind of go back to our value parser, though. I mean, even our group code. should be running into this problem. Now, I'm not sure if it's RN or NR. Expecting end of line. And okay, so it stops there and never actually gets to the next value. So technically we have to deal with value as the next thing, I guess. Actually, what is the thing? This is the main one we need to deal with. Unix like N, Windows RN, and then some of the Macs, I think. So we only need to deal with that one, which is enough to, which I think is the one that breaks this test. So symbol new line actually isn't quite it. This actually does have to be a full-fledged parser. So technically this is like carriage return, so this is line feed. And this is carriage return. Oh, I guess, should we really do this as the two different end returns? I don't know if there's a name for this. It's a carriage return line feed. Well, I guess if that's a carriage return, this should be a line feed. Oh, it does get run together. And then new line. You're a parser of nothing, aren't you? And I guess maybe I didn't have to pull them out like this now, but okay. All right, now new line is no longer, oh no, these are symbols. And now all these new lines become full-fledged parsers. Yes, we decided we wanted to, for consistency, we should do that. Okay, so now we're back to small header, which is still having R issues. I guess I only tested this on you. This might actually be a value thing. Well, we can test you. Okay. Right, because we're only testing for control N. In other areas down here, how many times do I do that? Only once. I took out 2 parentheses there. This is a small header, not the string value. Now we still don't know if value values handle this. So oh no, this was something else. Oh, because it was the first one's different. Okay, so this much seems to be okay. Okay, so this is the incorrect thing here, but we're just getting unknown type, which is also incorrect. So not only are we getting a single value, we're getting an unknown value. Now, unknown type is an entity thing, I think. Yeah. And it's saying unknown type blank string, so I wonder if the new lines are still messing us up. So this is not a parser. We're just mapping that. If it was a parser, I could map specifically section, or I could parse specifically, and that is parse and then map. And then we would get a parse error. Well, I had to allow for, because it's just basically just a string value. Why is our loop not running though? Because you failed, and then we were done. Okay, so we're not surprised that some of the other cases failed. Although single item is actually a little bit surprising. Row equals 3. Okay, row equals 3 means it's after the first item. Oh, that probably doesn't help. Row equals 11, which basically means we got to the end. Okay, so we have our list parser. Now, for a section in a list, or one section and tail, and really this could be anything, but we expect to get this once. Once we actually write this such that it gets a terminator. Yeah, now that's going to have impacts back on these things too. But I guess that might just be one of the end conditions. So a value list would get that. Oh, we need more parentheses. All the parentheses. That's going to break everything. So now you are a terminator. I guess this can just go into this state. It's just to I guess if loop is calling this every time, it's fine. I don't know if that has to be part of the state. Wait, it's not a function. Oh, because it's a parser. Okay. All right, well, okay, syntactic adjustments. Okay, still the wrong answer. Oh, no, we have to do this as a switch in here. No, you go over here. I guess we should include the terminator. Okay. So in theory, we could go back to this, although I still have some doubts. Oh no, actually we don't want the terminator. Because in standard use, we're going to say go till end, and then you're going to want the contents. Looking for 0. All right, so you are... So you're not going to be in here. You're going to be a value list ending on... And I guess if we're doing those types, maybe we should be doing that here. So that works. But if everything we're doing below here is going to be like searching list, I don't know if I want to be doing parsing style here. And I guess really, this should be like probably value list until. For the parser side, how you see a certain... Oh. I got so used to just using... Wait. And or... Oh, and or certain string. Chomp until certain string. This is just a string, which would have worked until we had to deal with new lines. If it was chomp until... parser... So that suggests you could actually do like values until. That doesn't read quite as nice. Okay, now what? I only changed the name. Oh, I did item here. Because we replaced that as the last thing, not the... Not the top level function. So maybe the question is, what do we do with the section once we've got it? This kind of gets us... Oh, you know, and this was our small header. It was just all commented out at the time. What do I want to do with it then? We could make we might be able to make a list of sections. Kind of get a top level document. Well, the interesting things are probably going to happen below that. Saying that a DXF is a list of sections might be accurate. Now, I haven't dealt with That's another 0. Haven't dealt with EOFs yet. Let's get that. That would be parse a section, a loop that parses a section or an EOF to be properly formed. And then I'll need ways to query into stuff. Let's see, if I wanted to go get arbitrary properties, well, we're going to have to parse the entire document. Any kind of decoder style thing is going to need to access things in arbitrary order. All right, 0. And I guess this would be a DXF. And G would be a list of sections. I mean, I can make a simple alias for that. It's just going to be a very simple alias. So there's type check. There's section. Well, that would have to be map list dot singleton. Right. All right, so this isn't necessarily a valid file. That's your internal list. All right, so now you are going to be, let's see, we had, probably gonna look pretty similar to this. It's not quite section. You have a value. You are a list of section. So you are a list of section, and you are a list of section. And we know what your terminator is. Now this is if value equals. We were reading values. Now we're reading sections. And this should technically have this. But we need the other style of parser to parse that. Actually, didn't we have an entity? Well, an entity parser does multiple things. So that would be if we fail to read a section. Then we better read an EOF. Oh, that thing was string-based. Which, looking for section. Oh, because they both start with 0. Yeah, this is the no backtracking issue. So our section, the little section parser we wrote, tries to read a section, and if it gets partway through, we're in trouble. I guess the section parser itself is not necessarily the thing that you'd kind of be throwing out and exposing. We'd parse the file and use the results. So we actually like to have to parse a entity and then determine whether we are starting a section or ending. The section parser we've written only handles things past that point, though. So if we have a section parser, we would actually pass it a value that does not include a section. Assuming we've already parsed that and determined that we're trying to start a section. And then a file would have to, well, it would start out trying to read something, it would get a section, it would do section parser. Break all the things. So the result from all of this will actually not include section start. Not going to include that start or end, so that's kind of nice. All right. Oh, so we were specifically reading a section here. That's interesting. And throwing it away. All right, that leaves us empty section, which, okay. I can believe that, because it still has all this stuff in it. And actually, okay, section header. And small file. You see, this is where, because we're trying to run a file, we need to have that back. And I just outright deleted it. Well, let's, okay. Small header. So now this gets kind of obnoxious. Maybe I should actually assemble small file. Section text. Okay, now we haven't actually changed our file at all. So this is, we're going to try to pick out one section. So we're going to parse one value and then that value is either a section start, in which case do we still do this? Or, I guess this is technically a case with a wildcard. Or it's a nested if then. Because it's either you or this is where we have to do specific parsing for end of file. Entity, okay, that does match up. Wait, can I just do that? Because that was parse something and then do this. This is, we've already parsed it here. Can we just return? Now EOF doesn't exist. Okay, we cannot just return done. So it produces a step state, list section. All the previous branches return step list section A, step state. So that's a type, and that's a Right, so I have to put it into a parser. Or not? Oh, right, we never did our catch-all. And this is just, what's fail? Is it just fail? Oh. Okay. What's the opposite of succeed? Succeed is in all the examples, unfortunately. Problem. Unfortunately, we don't have a toString for these right now. If I did custom values, I could put the custom problems. I could put the value in there, but unless I write a toString, when it's a large enumerated type, so that's kind of a pain. It's still not gonna be terribly useful unless I like debug log it. I guess I can. Well, we don't expect this to run, right? All right, so this is, let's see. So section is still using this form with this like direct name parse. Values until is just our loop. But we do expect that to definitely be a name. If we didn't do that, we'd basically have to parse it and say, was it a name? Was it a name? I'm still wondering if I should be essentially writing my own parser on top of the like token stream. Because that way the parser would just give me a list of things, and then I wouldn't have the same issue with consuming things. Although I guess you would have already consumed you would have already run everything to memory. Because you've made the list. If you did a parser style thing, well, it might save passes over the list. So we can get a list of sections, which are a list of values. Now, I'm not yet sure what things I need to get out of sections. I mean, there's definitely structure here. I'm like, this is all variables. But to properly interpret these, you might have to have custom code for every variable. Well, I guess it's variable value up until the next variable. That would still leave a list of values, which is an untyped thing. And you have to know that like what is like header just all list of values. Is there a documented structure to this? Header section. Settings of variables with the drawing. Each variable specified by a 9 group, giving the variable's name, full of things that apply to that variable's value. Only the variables that are saved in the drawing file are listed. And goodness, there's a lot of them. So it sounds like header actually is just these variables. Classes section. Information for application-defined classes whose instances appear in the block's entities and objects. Oh, so we can have zeros here. That was some kind of primary name, primary text. C++ class name. Class definition is not currently loaded. Oh, wait, this has a definite definition for 90. Maybe in the classes section that has a meaning? Yeah. These have... I was seeing these 90, 90, 280, 281s. So maybe those are context dependent. I wonder if certain type codes only appear in certain sections. Now, unfortunately, I've kind of like washed codes out a little bit. So it's kind of hard to throw it at a file and see what we get. Although maybe if I could rewrite it to just return, you know, some value as like group code string. And then you could like sort them by group code or something. I guess really at that point you want to take a set. Okay, so 90 instance count for custom class. Okay, so that's not included in this stuff. Code 1, code 2. Record name, list code. These might be directly equivalent. Well, if these are the only values in there, no operation, load, erase, load, transform, code change, layer change, line type. Format proxy, disables proxy warning. Blocks are entities, and the only objects. I might not care about that, but there's definitely structure there. Oh, and I see these have more, might have more meaning to these things. I see here 70 is maximum number of entries in table, which is like int before. All symbol table. All symbol tables. Common group codes for symbol table entries. I guess it's continued. App ID entries. Block record. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I need. Each block reference. Hatch command associative dimensioning. In the drawing, format of entities in this section is identical to those in the entities section. Pair between block and end block entities. External references are into the DX block definitions. String. I guess I have to understand what a block is? Entities are graphical objects. They're not in the order shown in these DXF code tables. The tables show the order of the group. They usually appear. The order can change in certain conditions. We change in future AutoCAD release. The code that controls the entity should be driven by a case switch or a table if the order is unexpected. Okay, so arc, circle. I pretty much had lines in our sample thing. Subclass marker. Does that mean it's ACDB line? There's a line type record. Maybe. Oh, those are actual line types. There were a lot of those. Okay. Subclass marker. Thickness optional. Start point. 2030. End point. Oh, maybe it actually starts at line type. And these are actually some common fields to this. Oh, entity type, handle. Application defined group. Soft pointer ID handle to the owner dictionary. Maybe that's the layer. I see there's a 100 entity. Subclass marker. So that can be, and then we have an additional, okay, so it's a subclass of entity, which is then subclass of that is line. And I guess this is the Terminator code? Wait, that's a line? Does that mean that's what layer it's part of? Oh, layer name. Okay, so subclass, I thought that might be a property of that, but maybe an entity has layer membership property, and then this is all the line specific stuff. Non-graphical objects. Is this a section objects? Yeah. Object dictionary. Most objects is in the object dictionary. Not owned by the name dictionary or owned by other entities. Objects with simple table entries. Proxy object, placeholder, data table, dictionary, field, geodata, group, layer filter, layer index, layout, M-line style. Huh. There's also those ACAD reactors. Maybe that's AutoCAD. Well, because then, yeah, this is not, this is AC, or AutoCAD DB. And thumbnail image. So actually, all the rest of this is objects, apparently. So it'll take some work to figure that out. So to just get what we need, I guess I'd mostly be looking at entities. I'm probably going to want a decoder style interface where we say in the DXF file, like in this section, which a lot of times is going to be the entity section, how would you say I want all? Would you just say I want all entities? And you decode an entity as? How would you do conditional decode in, if you look at JavaScript list of objects? What do we do for our XML? We took, well, we did, they had a thing called leaky list, which say if it didn't decode, just throw it away. Which is basically that test and, man, I guess it was just using doesn't decode as the filter. Well, if we try to start writing a decode interface, maybe we'll find some missing abstractions along the way. It's kind of hard to bridge the entire gap here. Honestly, it's probably a good time to take a break, though. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, there are these guys. Whoa! For science. But you can't really drag yourself, unfortunately. Now, this could be now I could maybe see this being more interesting in multiplayer where you could drag it farther. But yeah, they seem to have caught that. Fire to do cooking on. Oh. Well, sterile wool pad. Well, hey, this is how you learn the recipes. Did I just have a baby while dying? Yeah. I may. Oh, there's the key. Jason triggered an apocalypse. Or there were too few families the time he updated the code? I mean, or somebody else triggered the apocalypse. Welcome back. Now, I guess it might be worth just throwing the file we've got at it also. See if there's any obvious errors. So that's going to be top level file. Don't have a good interface for this yet. This is just going to be, well, if we go by that, it's import DXF.parser. We'll just do this as parser. Maybe the first thing is actually to fetch the file, though. Got layout. This is just a test file right now. It might eventually be a kind of layout. And this is just a parser.dxf. Which we now need to have an update function for. Which we're not doing a whole lot with this either. Oh, we're handling errors. Now we actually made a little thing that handled the parser as a helper. Maybe we could still do that. Then again, I don't know if it's worth the effort right now. Yeah, so there's all this expect stuff. Well, I guess if we got it as a string, we have to run the decoder and stuff there, so And this had a built-in path. Being lazy about that. All right, so get. We just call this QCAD. Result HTTP error to message xml.decode.decoder, which don't even have a full decoder yet. You are actually taking a function that does this. I guess it's just, this is a parser then. Now, right now, this is always going to be DXF. Oh no, parser is the module. I guess if it's what that thing is, then it's a DXF parser. Which a DXF parser doesn't have a type? Well, that's all A. That's A. I think we're going to pass to it as a specific type. We get a thing of a string, and then a thing of decoded. It's technically a parser, not a decoder at this point. And that parser doesn't have a run module. Parser.advanced does. Okay, that's the run. Parser.advanced.run. Does that give me, well, it was a string, I guess. Parser advanced. Advanced. Now we have type errors. Result string, result HTTP error. Parser advanced. Okay. Do you have the toString, or did I have to do that myself? Okay, so parser.advanced dot dead ends to string. Okay, so So dead ends to strings, a list dead end. This is a result of a list of parser.advanced.deadend. This is parser. Oh, do you... Right, you're advanced, so you don't have a stock implementation. Other projects I've done may have had to do that. Just have to remember which ones. And take all my Twitch stuff off. Which is one of the places to be likely to have it. Okay. Actually, what was it? Actually, map had some. List dead end context problem, which in this case was just strings. Oop. So where does that fit in? It runs the parser. That's the result.map. So it's a list of parser advanced dead end. Oh, it's associating that with the string. What's this dead end to strings? This might be result.map error. That's the error type. So we're mapping error, and then that is actually you? Okay. All right. Fetch layout. Fetch DXF. Run a server. Hey, an error, what do you know? Looking for a group code. Well, that's... didn't tell us anything about the wheres. Now, we might be able to... maybe we can get more out of that. Well, maybe that's supposed to, in advance, that's supposed to be up to me. To record all those stuff. Although the parser errors... this is actually a limit in my dead ends to string. There's context to string. Can we not get more information out of that? It says there's dead end row column. Context to string is okay. Context stack, context. Okay, so we haven't had to really use this before. Or maybe I had better descriptions on that. I can add some context to things. So this is to find the right places to put them. And I have to remember the right ways to combine these. Of course, I guess I'm not really in a position to test these errors, but I can test the syntax. Oh, that was a section. Can you do that? That work with this too. This is pretty much just going to be looking for a name, probably a section. No, it's in looking for sections. So that's going to be the context stack. Did I end up? Did I end up using you? I did not end up using you. I might have a test for you. But most of the time, we're just going to be in our value list for section. Looking for a group code while parsing a document. So that, This is probably value. Like I said, yeah, because it would have been inside of sections somewhere. I think. Anytime we're looking for a group code, we're going to be parsing a value. That's not a big leap there. So I guess I have to get unlazy about this. Did I get the actual problem? Like, okay, problem there. But that actually indicates that this is just the context. The problem was here. Looking for a group code. Let's see, is this? I think this, yes. No, that's a list. String.join while. String dot from int, I presume. One. Fabulous. That might mean our fetch failed. No, that was like the whole thing. Wait, what? Oh, God. It's the Elm server. Okay, so merge into Elm compiler. So it's not going to be. Missing main. Large files. README includes script tag. Okay, yeah, that's pretty corrupt. So now it's all mixed in with this other stuff. Well, the internet doesn't know. Separate style sheet. Include CSS styles. Oh. Now see, this is a particularly weird file type. If we had a different, a more common type, I'd be able to find a thing that was peculiar to that. And I guess the old Elm Reactor repository might have had some leftover notes. Serving fonts. MIME types are missing. That's a bot. That's kind of the same issue. It sounds like you have to change the code. Videos with extension aren't served. It's a MIME type array. More file formats. Yeah, so because it's quick and easy, it probably isn't configurable. Which means we need a new dev server. Now I know that there's been like one-line Ruby web servers in the past. We might have Python. Although it depends on if it's 2 or 3. Python 3. Oh, was it on 80? It was on 8,000. All right, so where are you? Hour? You like compress that or something? I would expect the browser to display it uncompressed though, even if it was compressed. It did say accept encoding. The response, just application DXF, which might not be the right encoding. Which if that's how it, oh. So it is somehow encoded. It's almost, well, it's probably jumping a lot per thing. I wish I could see the uncompressed version though. I don't think I had this error before, so it must be how the servers handle that. But that actually, I mean, there's probably a ton of unknowns in here. I might want to look up some of my default case things and see about listing them out. I might want to run through all of the sections and see if we got them all. And of course, we don't have any tools for scanning through this yet. Is it map? We'll just do the section names. I think there's only one. Like section is just section is section. I guess I also maybe want to print out the unknowns in here. Nah, just having the list of I kind of need to do both. This is going to be a parser.section. For now, Now I said map, but I guess we just mapped the names. So is the debug log going out in reverse? Yeah, that has to be the debug log is reversed. Maybe if we... So we kind of want to know which section it's in, but now I'm doubting if I can get useful ordering information out of this. So at the type level, or at the value level, we have unknown code. Nope. Case v of unknown parser.unknown code, and it is code value. This is not an exclusive case, though, so we have to deal with all of the others, which are... You see, I mapped this to this thing. Maybe if we just make them all to V. Little list. Parser.group pose. The first argument is string. Okay, so you're actually an int. That's the way to do that. Okay. So a whole bunch of 60s. Which I guess I'd have to output these with like line number information. 69, 68, 67 again. Mostly, well, there's some zeros, there's some ones. And a 105. So does this have any better? This does this. I think we had the 2018 one online. So I think I did remote bookmarks, not local bookmark on that. Oh. Okay, I just missed it when I was going through. I missed some of them. Yeah, you don't have an icon anymore. Oh, the server had its own favicon, that's why. Actually, we don't see a 62 here. Right, because actually objects is first. So these are kind of in reverse order. Wait, didn't I do 380? No. Okay. That's like an int of some sort, maybe? Plot style name. 16-bit integer, but we can't fully define it. Wait, we do have plot style name. The handle value of an object. Plot style name object. Plot style name enum. uh... Oh, actually, I never went down and fixed this one, did I? All right, so we had U. We had a 65. Which is undocumented in this version. Maybe that's why we ignored it. We had a 67. Model or paper space. Doesn't really define, I mean, that sounds like a Boolean, but it doesn't define really what that means. Now, what's the... That has space, so it looks like it's probably an int16 or something. That might actually be in types. So yeah, these are all 16-bit integers. And I guess technically we know that 65, 65 we skipped. I guess we could just call it an integer. Because it's unknown. And then 67 is space. Are they having their catch-all for, Oh, I did 65. $68, $69. App. Whether viewport is on but fully off screen, it is not active or is off. I don't have a name for that. Viewport identification number is on but fully off screen, is not active or is off. Viewport status? All right, viewport identification number. All right, and also, so there's 68, 69 again. We've got a 64, 65, 66. Only one of which is defined. So I might just do, oops. These as more integers, because we know they're integers at least. And we do have a definition for 66, actually. Entities follow. That might not have useful data. But it is in an integer category. Maybe it's the number of entities that follow? I say 68. You said that was going to be miscellaneous. 69. Okay, so we missed 160, 105, and 1001. Okay. 160 is a 64-bit integer. which we technically can't represent here. So we're going to kind of have to gloss over that one. And technically, actually, oh, you know what? Some of these were all 16-bit integers, weren't they? I mean, we know this is kind of fine from other ones, but... This... I don't think we were dealing with any other integer types. Okay, we had more stuff than I thought. That's where we hope they don't actually use all 64 bits. So these look like some some kind of object ID. It is some kind of handle, but it doesn't tell us a whole lot about it. Just a handle. They already have handle? We have an entity handle. It's not necessarily an entity, though. Just a handle. Oop. That control string had to do some special stuff. This is BX ID. Oop, we were not on the test. All right, 105 and 1001. Must be application name. String. These are types. Registered application name. That technically has a limit of 31 bytes. I don't know if we need to be picky about that. I guess the other one just ended up being a string. Yeah, 1000 was just a text. All right, so that is all of the unknowns there. Let's see, the other case was unknown code. We looked at unknown code. This is unknown type, which is an entity. Entity goes into entity type. That entity type, actually, no, the entity type has unknown type of something. No. Oh, parser. Oh, okay. There's actually a lot of these. Huh. That are considered... Well, these are at the same level of sections, and sections were pretty important. So these are probably things that we might want to support if we start doing more of a decoder style. In table, and if it's like a section, it'll have a name. Table style. No, it has an ID. I don't know if that's useful. Well, I did actually name one of my layers. Maybe that's like linked in somewhere else. All right, some these do tend to be repeated, so there's not actually quite as many as it looks. You are going to be a 0. Okay, yep. This is still undefined. Parser. There's kind of like order of discovery or order of use. There's also maybe just, well, I don't want to keep pairs together. There's also alpha. And this did not end up next to you. Class table is actually following from sections. It's probably have to be like, well, section we had a little bit more of a, maybe, yeah. Because I wanted to call it type section. So we have sections, so we have section start. So we have table start. Actually, we might actually just want to split this and keep both of those handy. All right, table. We know that there's an end tab. Oops. Okay, there we go. Wrote it while it was running. We've got a viewport, which I'm going to assume is viewport. Okay, table, L type. I'm gonna guess that's a line type. I guess it could be a layer type. Yes, it's a line type. Nope, I never saved this. Let's cut it while running. A style. Table, all right, so app ID. Application ID. Dim style. Dimension style. CD. Block record. We have block and end block. Now, this probably means we want to do block start, assuming there might be a block type if we got really far into it. And block and block. I'm curious what solid means. Solid entities. Okay. We did not get a pass here. Unknown type and might not be perfectly valid tests. We're kind of typing stuff in. Solid. Oh, we have viewport and viewport. Uh-oh. Viewport entities. Viewport symbol table. Multi-viewport configuration. Active viewport, active. All right, so this is blocks. This is entities. This is, well, it's a table. Viewport table record. Viewport. Okay, so this would be viewport table technically. Line type. Line point. Okay, now we're getting some things I actually put down. I might actually want to end up redoing some of these types. Because, like, point and line might be things we want as structures. And then viewport. Sun? Is that for like architectural stuff? Status, color, intensity, shadows, Julian day. Yeah, it's the sun. I kind of skipped over dictionary. AutoCAD DB dictionary default. Oop. Almost there. X record. Extension record. So store them in arbitrary data. Not offend releases RC13 or C3. Free RC for first. X record objects disappear. So that's kind of its name. All right, L, layout. I thought I copied too much. I guess there weren't as many repeats as I thought. Material. Material. M liter style? M line style. Oh, there it is. Does this tell me what an M liter is? Not really? What was it claiming about liter? That's M line. Does M line say what M means? No. Multi? What's a liter? It's just an M liter style. Yep. Line. Change to S. Line. Change to S. Change to S. Placeholder. ACDB placeholder. Okay, so point ACDB placeholder. No scale. Scale. Okay. Table style? No. Table start. But I like to have these together, so. Visual style. Visual. We had dictionary, but not dictionary var. And cell style map. Oop. Cell style map. Oh, no, we actually had a problem with dictionary var. Indeed. Okay, so we misspelled this, and do we just skip layer? Apparently we just skipped layer, so I don't know where that was in the original list. Oh, we know we tried to get dictionary default. ACDB dictionary default. Dictionary with default? Maybe. Owner dictionary. One for each entry. Does that mean there's a default value? Name, unmangle name. Hard pointer to default object. Oops. We had this for that. Layer. Oh. We have multiple layers. Okay, so layer is a code. Layer filter, layer index. And it is a table. Layer symbol table. So I guess we want to call this one the layer table. All right, so there's no major unknown things there. I think the next step is to kind of work top down on a decoder style interface. Because I'm not completely sure how to build up into like variables and things. On the parsing end, we've got like variable and value, and you kind of have to go tell the next variable definition. I guess if I used the and then kind of loop, then you could say, well, is this a thing to add to that? Or is it a new variable definition? But that's, I guess one of the things I'm interested in is what are the types of things that can appear in each section, although that's kind of documented here. Because like header is supposedly all just these vars. So you could say header section, well, we're gonna do a loop doing vars, and if there's anything else, we're gonna have a problem. Oh, so these are viewport variables, huh? Classes have a semi-regular structure. Of course, I also don't know if I need these yet. Tables, I don't know if I need. Blocks, I don't know if I need. I think entities are the drawable graphical objects, yes. And, oh, layer is a table? Layer filter, layer index, layout. Lots of things that actually didn't appear in this file. So I guess we wanted to request those by enum, then we have to define that. So this is one of those cases where I'm not sure whether it's actually good to be mapping like this or just say, we think of it like a JSON key. Is this actually a defined a defined structure though? Anyway, I think that I don't have a good way to work bottom up right now. The sections are almost a little dodgy. But maybe I could continue that style to like build variables and things. Yeah, because like my section had a definite end. A variable is going to be till the next variable starts. That's you have a problem consuming your entry then. Maybe that would be a loop with a really complicated state. Of course, it also makes sections. If you have a section, if a header has variables, it is no longer just a section that's a list of values. It's now a header section which has variables, which, without building out support for all the things, a variable is just a list of values. Even though a lot of them would actually have singular values. I don't think I need support for that to define it right now. Anyway, that's enough of a breaking point to call it for tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the support from subscribers. That's what I'm usually on. So Tuesday is a toss-up day. Sometimes I want to take the night off. Sometimes I want to do gaming. I was feeling pretty good today. Get some more code done. And this project just keeps on going and going. I don't necessarily have a whole lot of code stuff right now. Yeah, so what else do we got? There's some Dwarf Fortress. That's almost like code, right? Lots of text. Probably lots of thinking and planning. Although I haven't never really gotten into it. If you're looking for some place cool to hang out, Aristique is playing some Dwarf Fortress as he's trying to train warbears. So that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and good night, and until next time.